At the dawn of 2025, a bombshell dropped from the White House, sending shockwaves through Canada. President Donald Trump revealed his plan to impose a hefty 25% tariff on Canadian imports. Officially, the administration cited concerns over border security, illegal immigration, and drug smuggling. But the announcement immediately sparked a massive uproar across Canada's political, business, and public spheres. Citizens from all walks of life were left wondering how to respond to such a bold economic move. Some called for swift and forceful retaliation, arguing that Canada couldn't afford to let its largest trading partner push it around. Others, however, warned that escalating tensions could end up hurting the very businesses and workers they sought to protect. The complexity of the situation made the debate anything but straightforward. The central question on everyone's mind: how would Canada respond to such an unprecedented economic maneuver? The answer came quickly from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who firmly stated that Canada would not take this lying down. "Everything is on the table," he declared, calling for a united response. He understood that a weak reaction could damage Canada's global standing, especially given that the U.S. was its largest trade partner and a crucial ally in various areas. His comments set the stage for a tough and decisive response. Meanwhile, Ontario Premier Doug Ford pushed the envelope even further, suggesting aggressive measures like banning American liquor imports and contemplating drastic cuts to energy exports to states like Michigan and New York. But here the situation started to get tricky. The U.S. and Canadian economies are deeply interconnected, and pulling the wrong lever could trigger widespread economic disruptions. A significant portion of American refineries, particularly in the Midwest and Rocky Mountain regions, rely on heavy crude oil from Canada. If Canada were to restrict its oil supply, U.S. gas prices could soar, and Canadian oil-producing provinces could find themselves in serious economic trouble. However, as dramatic as the U.S.-Canada energy situation was, it wasn't the only energy drama unfolding on the world stage. Across the Pacific, China was undergoing a monumental shift in its energy strategy, with global implications. One of the most significant changes in 2025 was a dramatic decline in U.S. crude exports to China. U.S. oil exports to China plummeted from 115.6 million barrels in 2024 to just 81.9 million barrels in 2025. The decline was attributed to a combination of factors, including China's slowing economy, a push for renewable energy, and increasing oil imports from Russia and Iran, which offered more attractive alternatives to American crude. In retaliation for U.S. tariffs, China imposed its own set of penalties. Starting on February 10, 2025, U.S. crude oil would be subject to a 10% tariff, while liquefied natural gas, LNG, and coal would face a 15% tariff. This move marked a seismic shift in global energy politics. China, once the second-largest importer of U.S. oil, had now slipped to the 6th spot in just a few short years. What initially seemed like a minor shuffle in the global oil market was, in reality, a major realignment with lasting implications for the flow of energy worldwide. But the story doesn't end there. Despite its declining oil imports, China's energy strategy has become increasingly focused on diversifying its sources. Rather than continuing to rely on traditional Western suppliers, China has turned its attention to cheaper, politically isolated sources like Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. This shift is not only about cost savings, it's also a strategic move to reduce dependency on the U.S. and its allies. According to energy tracking firms like Kepler, China has been steadily increasing its imports from these sanctioned nations. A 2% increase in imports from Iran might seem small on paper, but given China's massive daily crude imports, over 10 million barrels, that increase represents a substantial volume of oil. Why the shift? It's all about securing better deals and gaining more control over its energy supply. Since Western sanctions hit Russia, the country has been forced to offer steep discounts on its oil. China, ever eager to secure the best price, has seized this opportunity, snapping up Russian Urals crude at prices well below market value. Similarly, despite facing tough U.S. sanctions, Iran has managed to continue supplying China with oil through complex methods, such as switching off tanker tracking systems and transferring crude to other ships at sea. Sometimes, Iranian oil is even relabeled as coming from other countries like Malaysia or Oman to avoid detection. Venezuela, too, despite sanctions, has found ways to get its oil into China via intricate third-party trades and convoluted payment systems. For Chinese refineries, particularly those not under government control, this cheaper sanctioned oil presents an irresistible opportunity. China's energy strategy isn't just about getting cheap oil, it's about long-term energy security. By diversifying its suppliers, including those outside the influence of the US and Europe, China is ensuring that it isn't overly dependent on any single source. This diversification also brings significant financial benefits. Buying oil at discounted prices allows Chinese refiners to operate with higher profit margins, which they can use either to sell fuel at lower domestic prices or flood the market with cheaper refined products, particularly in Asia. This, in turn, strengthens China's position in global energy markets. Tracking China's evolving energy strategy and its impact on global oil dynamics is a complex and often elusive task. However, energy analysts and tracking firms like Kepler and Vortex have developed methods to uncover the truth, utilizing satellite imagery, ship tracking data, and port records. These tools allow them to monitor oil tankers in real time. One common tactic used to conceal shipments is for tankers to go dark, turning off their tracking systems. Others conduct ship-to-ship transfers at sea, obscuring the oil's true origin. Ports in Malaysia and Oman have become key hubs for such operations, where oil from Iran and Venezuela can be relabeled before being sent to China. Despite Chinese customs records not showing these shipments officially coming from sanctioned nations, the rising volumes of these imports paint a different picture. It's evident that China is actively seeking out these cheaper, politically isolated oil sources to save billions and reshape the global oil market in the process. This shift in China's energy purchases is not only altering its own economy, but also putting pressure on traditional suppliers. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Angola, and Brazil are being forced to revise their pricing strategies to remain competitive with China's growing demand for discounted oil from Russia, Iran, and Venezuela. As these nations adjust to China's increased demand, their own economies are feeling the strain, while the global balance of power in the energy sector continues to shift. For Russia, China's changing oil priorities present both a challenge and an opportunity. In the wake of Western sanctions following its invasion of Ukraine, Russia turned to China as a new partner, and trade between the two countries surged to over $240 billion in 2023, with oil and gas making up a significant portion of that total. Russia's energy ties with China have only strengthened in 2024, with the completion of the Power of Siberia pipeline, which gives China direct access to Russian natural gas. Discussions are already underway to expand this pipeline, redirecting gas originally intended for Europe. This shift is fundamentally altering global energy flows, with Russia becoming increasingly reliant on China to absorb its exports. For China, securing a long-term energy supply from Russia is an essential part of its broader strategy to reduce dependence on Western-controlled markets. China's energy strategy extends beyond securing oil and gas. It also focuses on building long-term strategic alliances. A prime example is China's relationship with Iran. Despite U.S. sanctions meant to cut off Iranian oil revenue, China has continued to buy Iranian crude at discounted prices. This partnership has not only provided China with affordable energy, but has also given Iran a financial lifeline, allowing it to fund key government programs, including military initiatives. Washington has responded with harsher sanctions, aiming to cut off Iran's oil revenue, but China has shown no signs of backing down. It has found innovative ways to discreetly import Iranian oil, often through third-party channels or disguised shipments. Beyond oil, China is also deepening its energy ties with the UAE, with this partnership growing rapidly. By 2023, trade between China and the UAE reached nearly $95 billion, with non-oil goods making up most of that figure. However, energy remains at the core of the relationship, with the UAE's natural gas exports to China surpassing $4 billion. This expanding energy partnership is a crucial part of China's broader strategy to diversify its energy sources and strengthen its economic ties with the Middle East. By 2024, China's state-owned energy giant CNPC signed a significant deal with the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, ADNOC. This partnership aims to explore new oil and gas reserves, ramp up production, and expand the trade of crude oil and liquefied natural gas, LNG. China's strategy isn't solely focused on fossil fuels. The country has long been a leader in solar energy, and its exports of solar panels to the UAE are helping the region meet its clean energy goals. Investments in renewable energy are booming on both sides, with China now the UAE's largest commercial partner in the Middle East. Both nations are positioning themselves to be leaders in a more sustainable energy future, while simultaneously deepening their economic ties. In conclusion, China's shifting energy dynamics are transforming the global oil market. By reducing its reliance on Western oil, China isn't just cutting costs, it's securing long-term energy stability, diversifying its suppliers, and strategically positioning itself as a dominant force in the global energy landscape. As this transformation unfolds, its ripple effects will be felt worldwide, from the US and Russia to the Middle East and beyond.